Yeah. Good morning, students. Today we are coming with another topic in the same lesson, laws of motion. That is law of conservation of linear momentum. So, law of conservation of linear momentum is very important topic for you because several questions can come from this topic, and also so many numericals we can do using this theory, right? So, try to understand this theory very clearly, right? According to law of conservation of momentum, when no external force is acting on a system. System means a body. A body is consisting of large number of particles, right? A system consisting of large number of particles is called a body. When no external force is acting on a system of particles, then the momentum of the whole system always remains a constant. This is the definition of conservation of linear momentum. It is a basic law of nature. Conservation of momentum is the basic law of nature, just like conservation of energy. The energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. This is basic law of nature. And this is also basic law of nature. Conservation of linear momentum. Even conservation of angular momentum also there. That is for rotatory motion. And in this case, rotatory and circular motion we will refer angular momentum. In this case, we will refer what is called linear momentum. Body moves in a straight line towards a particular direction with a certain velocities and all, and this body consists of large number of particles. And when no external force is acting on the body, means the body is not getting accelerated. Then the system, that means every particle with which the body is made, will have the same moment. Sorry, the total momentum of the momentum of the whole body, with which the body is made with so many particles of different masses, but the whole momentum of all the particles when calculated, that always remains a constant. Anytime t second it is same moment, after some time then also momentum will be same. Always the momentum remains a constant. And this is the definition of conservation of momentum, right? We know that by second law of motion, we know that dp by dt is equal to f. dp by dt is equal to f. Rate of change of momentum is equal to force acting on the body. If the external force is equal to 0, we can write f is equal to 0. So when no external force is acting on the system, then the total momentum of all the particles with which the body has been made always remains a constant. So no external force, F is equal to 0. Therefore, what we can write, dp by dt is equal to 0, we can write. dp by dt is equal to 0, we can write, means the rate of change of a fixed value, a constant value only can be equal to 0. Because if the body is always a constant, there is no change can take, there is no change takes place. So a body can never change, then the rate of change is equal to 0. Therefore, so a physical quantity is a constant, then rate of change of that quantity always remains equal to 0. So we can write, because rate of change, dp by dt means rate of change only. So dp by dt is equal to 0 means we are, this quantity P is a constant physical quantity. Rate of change of a constant quantity is always equal. Therefore, we can write P is equal to quantity. We can write P is equal to constant. This is the definition of what is called conservation of linear momentum. When no external force is acting on a system of particles, then the total momentum of the system always remains a constant. So for two particle system, when we explain this one, this is in this way. Suppose that a system consists of two particles. Due to interaction, mutual interaction between these two particles, their momenta are P1 and P2. Their momenta are P1 and P2 respectively, right? Due to this momentum interaction, the force will be acting on these particles. We can imagine, right? Two particles are there kept somewhere. Due to mutual interaction, there will be momentum on these particles. Mutual interaction means what? Mutual force. That means one body will act a force on the other. That body will act a force on the second body like that. So we can write. So momentum is there due to which due to interaction only the momentum variation takes place. Due to the force is acting on these two bodies separately. The force acting on the first body due to the second body is F12. Therefore, F12 force acting on the first body by the second body. That is equal rate of change of momentum of the first body. So you can write that is equal to dP1 divided by dt. I can write. Right? There are two bodies. Their momenta are P1 and P2 due to mutual interaction. And hence a force acts on these particles. The force acting on the first particle is first particle by the second part due to mutual interactive force acting on the first body by the second body is F12 is equal to dP1 by dt. And the force acting second body by the interactive force, the first is given by F21 is equal to dP2 divided by what? dt also we can write. Am I correct? As the forces are equal and opposite, because this interactive forces are equal and opposite, we can write F21 is equal to minus F12 also. We can, because these two forces are acting between two particles in a particular place they are kept, and this is the internal matter of these two particles only. One force is acting on a force, and because every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. Therefore, these two forces are equal in magnitude but opposite in direction, we can write. So therefore, F21 is equal to what? That is dP2 divided by dt. That is equal to minus of dP1 divided by dt. You can also note down all these things from this notes I'm writing on the board, right? Okay. Or what we can write is dP2 or dP2 by dt plus dP1 divided by dt. That means rate of change of momentum of the second body plus rate of change of momentum of the first body. That is equal to 0. I can write. This is equal to d by dt of, commonly we can write P1 plus P2 is equal to 0 also we can write. Right. So d by dt, the whole thing is equal to 0. Therefore, P1 plus P2 always remains a constant. Therefore, we can write P1 plus P2 is equal to a constant. That means no external force is acting on a system of two particles. Then momentum of these two particles always remains a constant. This is called a linear conservation of momentum. Very simple, and also it is very easy to understand this theory. But the most important thing is how this is applied. That is the most important thing, right? If there are n number of particles in a system and all these are having momenta due to mutual interaction as P1, P2, P3, P4, etc., Pn, individual momenta are what? P1, P2, P3, P4, etc., nth particle has momentum is equal to Pn. Then according to this conservation law, this basic law of nature, we can write P1 plus P2 plus P3 plus etc. plus Pn. The whole thing always remains a constant. So when no external force acting on a system, then the momenta of all the total moment of all the particle system always remains a constant. Now we suppose that there is a diversion of this thing. I am going to tell you it's a simple diversion. Suppose a particle, a body has two particles, a system has two particles, and they're due to mutual interaction, right? So they had already a momentum P1 and P2 between them, right? Right? Due to mutual interaction, their momentum changes, right? Okay. A system has already had a momentum P1 and P2. How many particle system has? Two particles in the system have. Already there was a momentum. Even without having an external force also, there was a momentum in the system of the two particles, which is the initial momentum P1 and P2 respectively. Due to mutual interaction between these two particles, suppose their momenta are changed as P1 dash and P2 dash. What is the initial momentum? That is equal to P1 and P2. What is the final momentum of the same system without any external force? P1 dash and P2 dash. In this case, it is very, very important. In this case, we can write the initial momentum is equal to final momentum. Then no force is acting on the system. The system of particles are already some momentum. And due to mutual interaction, if their momentum changes, then the initial momentum must be equal to the final momentum. First lot of momenta will be equal to second lot of momenta is equal to third lot of momenta is equal to a constant. In that case, what we can write, initial momentum is equal to initial linear momentum is equal to final momentum. Final momentum. Initial momentum is equal to P1 plus P2. Total initial momentum is equal to P1 plus the two particles were having a momentum P1 and P2. Now, due to interaction between these two particles, their momenta are changed into, without any external force acting on the system, their momenta only due to internal matter, internal interaction between the particles, the momentum changes into P1 dash and P2 dash. So therefore, initial momentum is equal to P1 dash plus P2 dash. Suppose P1 is equal to M1 U1. This is M1 U1. P2 is equal to M2 U2. That is equal to this P1 dash is equal to M1 V1. Mass does not change, but only velocity changes, right? And plus M2 V2 I can write. That means initial momentum is equal to final momentum. So this is also a very beautiful thing in a system of two particles. This kind of things also, that means that always remains a constant, right? The same thing can this is application. Now we are coming to many applications we can explain here. One application is the recoil of the gun. When a soldier or someone operates a gun, right? When the trigger is made on, the bullets are moving in the forward direction with the muzzle velocity. At the same time, there is a jerk experienced in the gun. Gun moves in the backward direction. And this process is called recoil of the gun. System is gun and the bullet. Initially, the gun, everything, the internal system, gun and the bullet, everything were at rest. Everything were at rest. Then after that, what happens that time? The initial momentum is equal to 0. Because